Good morning, boys and girls. I'm here at the canal in Inchicore. Canal is a waterway and it's very straight, and I'm here talking to my friend Mr. Swan. Now look at him there, look. Looks well, doesn't he? He's a big bird. Now this swan is called a mute swan, and you can tell he's a mute swan. Can you see his red beak? That's the front there, it's kind of red and yellowish, and he has a kind of a black knob on top of it there. And that makes him a mute swan. Now a mute swan, if you press the mute on your remote control on your television, it makes the telly go quiet. So they're usually very quiet birds, that's why they call them mute. Let's go a bit higher up. And this fella, he's not well. The only time you hear him talking is if he would make a hissing sound, a hiss. Now look over there, you can see someone's across over there. I wonder if he put his head, because what they normally do is they put their head under the water to see if they can find some algae. Now he knows I have food for him, so he's waiting, he keeps swimming over to me. Now algae, what's algae? Do you remember that story we read about the disgusting sandwich, and the poor badger, his sandwich went into the pond, remember, and it got covered in green goop? Well, that was algae, and there's algae at the bottom of the canal here, where the swans like to eat. Pretty good. I'll give him a bit more, will I? He might be hungry. I'll give him some more food. Here we go. We'll stop it down there if you buy out. He's going to eat that. Now he's preening himself. Now, if you look at his feathers, do you remember we said our tissue was absorbent and it soaks up the water? Well, his feathers are not absorbent. They are the opposite of absorbent. They are waterproof, which means that they don't soak up water, which is great. Now look beside the canal. I also want to show you something else here. You might have one of these near you, do you? It's a louse. Very noisy louse. But the swan doesn't mind the noise. He's well used to it. Now you can see that our friends coming here now. Look, I have 3 of them. Can you tell what these are? These are ducks. Ducks. And these are the male ducks, the man ducks. You can tell them because their heads are green. They're a bit more colourful than the female ducks, the mammy ducks, because they tend to be a bit brown. There's 1, 2, 3, so I might throw some stuff out for them to eat. And there they are, they like to eat. You can see their yellow beaks and their lovely green flashing on their head. They're very colourful, aren't they? They like to swim around. Now they're the same as swans, they eat anything that they can find. So swans, he's over there, that swan there, look, and again, that's a mute swan. A mute swan, look, he's preening himself. So he's trying to clean himself. He might have something stuck in his wings he's trying to get rid of. And look, here's some more people under the bridge, they're coming over. Well, people, did I say people? More swans coming over again. These are all mute swans. You can see the little black knob that they have over their beaks. Mute. Now they're always very quiet, that's why they call them mute swans, not like the noisy louse, which is very noisy, so you can see them there. And they tend not to make any noise. The only time they'll make a noise is if they think you're trying to attack them, and they'll hiss at you, it's like a hissing sound. So if they make that hissing sound at you, it's like a warning, you need to keep away from them. Yeah, look at them, they're lovely. I'll give these a little bit of food. Yeah, so we have, oh, there's loads now. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 swans. Now I'm just going to go up this bridge here and I'll talk to you more about the canal. A canal is a waterway and it stretches all the way down that way and it continues all the way in that direction in a nice straight line, and this canal is called the Grand Canal, and if you follow the canal all the way in that direction, you come all the way down to the River Liffey in Dublin, and the place you get to is a place called, I don't know if you've ever been to the Tree Arena. That's a concert take place there, so it goes all the way down to the River Liffey, down beside there. Now in Finglas we have a canal too, and that one's called the Royal Canal. Now I'm on the south side of the city, so this canal is on the south side, so this is the Grand Canal, and you're on the north side, Finglas is, and that has the Royal Canal. And the Royal Canal goes all the way down to the River Liffey too. There's a swan, he's preening himself. Preening, which means he's cleaning his feathers, making sure that there's no dirt There's a duck there beside him too, look. Carefully. And you see the ring on his foot. And that will have a number, and that let people know which swan that is, so we can find out where he was, where he goes, and where did he come from. Now, swans over here looking resting in the sun. Like all creatures, they all like the sun. Look, lying down with their necks over their bodies, having a little rest. There's 5 of them there, look. They're all lying down and thinking, oh, I'm having a rest. Now, they're very clever bird though. They'll keep an eye out and make sure that nobody wants to come and grab them or something. But we leave them alone. They're happy out there. And they don't mind the old noisy loose coming along. Look, no, we don't care. Now the swans on the canal, where I am and where you are, they're kind of used to humans. So they don't mind people going up and down. They're not frightened, they won't fly away. But they'll be a bit territorial, which means that if you go too close to them, territorial is a big word. They're very territorial, which means if you go too close to them, look at him scratching his back of his head there. If you get too close to them, they might want to smack you with their wings. They might come at you and they'll hiss. So if that happens, you really should keep away. As soon as you hear a swan hissing, it's time to move out of the way. Brilliant, lovely. So the Lewis there stopping at Black Horse. Now I'm here in another part of the canal. Very noisy here, no swans. And you can see this thing here is called a lock, which is kind of like, well, it's a gate. And it's stopping the canal water coming in, and some of the water is spilling over the top, and it makes a lovely waterfall noise. Listen to that. And up you can see another one over there. So I might go up there and have a look at that one, okay? I'll just turn you off for a second. Now I'm just in between the 2 locks, right? And you can see this water here. Now, this water is very dark. And the reason why it's very dark is it's very deep. So if you ever come to a lock like this, be very careful and stay back from the edge, because that water is very deep, and if you fall in, well, you might be able to get back out again, but it's very cold too, alright? Now, so let's go and have a look up here. There's some steps up to this gate here. Where am I? There's the Lewis stop I told you, Black Horse. I walked all the way up there and I came along here to the locks, and I'm up here at this one here now. There's another kind of waterfall there, look, it's falling in. Okay, that. It goes all the way along there. And there's another gate over there. So I'm going to have a look at that one now. Now, this lock is much quieter. And you can see the 2 long handles coming out with a white part at the end. And the other ones have those long white handles too, if you can see them. Okay, now, the canal goes all the way down there, and there's swans further down there, and there's another lock all the way over that at the other side over there. Well, continuing on. Now if you went in that direction, you would come to a place in Dublin called Clondalkin, alright, and then that goes all the way in into the countryside. It goes all the way, I think I told you earlier, it goes to a big long river called the River Shannon, which is the longest river in Ireland. So this canal here is the Grand Canal. And remember, your canal on the north side is the Royal Canal. Anyhow, so look, the water. Now so there's the canals, and there's another Lewis. And that canal goes all the way down to Dublin City. And then, that way, goes all the way into the middle of the country to a place called the River Shannon. Now, I hope you enjoyed that little trip in the canal. I hope I don't fall in. Look, I'm very close to the water. It's very black there because it's very deep. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll talk to you later on, okay? So mind yourself, and if you're ever beside the canal with your mammy or your daddy, always listen to them, stay in the banks, and be very, very careful. Now, I live down that road over there. As you can see, it's kind of a bit blurry. That's Inchicore down that way, and that's where I live. So I'm going to head home, walking carefully along here. Alright, bye. there's the canals, and there's another loose. And that canal goes all the way down to Dublin City. And then that way goes all the way into the middle of the country to a place called the River Shannon. Now, I hope you enjoyed that little trip in the canal. I hope I don't fall in. Look, I'm very close to the water. It's very black there because it's very deep. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll talk to you later on, okay? So mind yourself, and if you're ever beside the canal with your mammy or your daddy, always listen to them, stay in the banks, and be very, very careful. Now, I live down that road over there. As you can see, it's going to be blurry. That's Inchicore down that way, and that's where I live. So I'm going to head home, walking carefully along here. Alright, bye.